In the ancient village of Umuada, hidden between red earth paths and whispering iroko trees, there lived a young girl named Zinnyora. From the day she was born, the women of the village gasped, not in joy, but in fear. Zinnyora entered the world without a single strand of hair upon her head. No soft curls, no baby fuzz. Her scalp shone smooth like polished calabash under the sun. Among the people of Umuada, hair was not just beauty, it was identity, pride, and blessing. Girls were celebrated for thick plaits and long braids. Mothers sang songs while weaving hair with cowries and beads. So when Zinnyora was born bald, the midwives exchanged uneasy glances. "Something is wrong," one whispered. "Such children carry strange destinies," another murmured. Her mother, Adesewa, held her close anyway, pressing the baby's bare head to her chest and whispering prayers into her skin. "You are mine," she said. "Hair or no hair, you are a gift." But fate is rarely kind to gentle promises. Adesewa died when Zinnyora was barely 5 reigns old. Fever took her swiftly, leaving the girl alone with a father who soon remarried. Her stepmother, Madame Morayo, was a woman with a sharp tongue and a heart hardened by envy. She had 2 daughters of her own, both blessed with thick hair that fell like dark rivers down their backs. From the first day Morayo entered the compound, she looked at Zinnyora with disgust. "Bald child," she sneered. "You shame this household." Zinnyora tried to make herself small. She swept the compound before dawn, fetched water until her arms ached, and cooked meals she was never allowed to eat first. If a pot broke, Zinnyora was beaten. If rain spoiled the cassava, Zinnyora was blamed. Morayo forbade her from wearing scarves or head coverings. "Let the world see what you are," she said cruelly. Rejected by the village. The other children of Umuada were no kinder. "Egghead," "Moon scalp," "Spirit child." They laughed as they ran past her. Girls gathered under mango trees to braid each other's hair, but whenever Zinnyora approached, they scattered like frightened birds. "You don't belong here," they said. "You'll curse us." Sometimes Zinnyora sat alone by the stream, watching her reflection ripple in the water. She wondered if the gods had forgotten her. She wondered what she had done wrong before she was born. Yet despite everything, her heart remained soft. She shared her food with birds. She spoke gently to old women. She sang to sick goats until they slept, and every night she prayed, not for hair, but for peace. Unknown to Zinnyora, long before she was born, the village oracle had spoken a prophecy. "The child without hair shall carry the crown, mocked by many, chosen by destiny. The head that bears no beauty shall wear the greatest honor." The elders dismissed it as madness. How could a bold, unwanted girl rise above all? Time buried the prophecy, but destiny never forgets. One dry season morning, the sound of royal drums thundered through Umuada. Dust rose as horsemen entered the village. Prince Adekunle, son of the great king of Ile-Oko, had come seeking a bride, not by beauty alone, but by character. The prince was known throughout the land for his wisdom and unusual ways. He believed true worth lived beyond the skin. All the maidens gathered. Hair was oiled, braided, decorated with coral and gold. Mothers pushed their daughters forward eagerly. Morayo dragged her daughters to the front and locked Zinnyora inside the hut. "You will not disgrace us today," she hissed, "but fate has its own feet." As the prince walked through the village, greeting the people, he suddenly stopped. He heard a song, soft, aching, and pure. It floated from behind a mud wall like a prayer carried on the wind. "Who sings like that?" he asked. No one answered. The prince followed the sound until he reached Morayo's compound. He knocked. Reluctantly, Zinnyora was dragged out, trembling, her bald head exposed under the sun. The crowd gasped. Some laughed, Others turned away in shame. Prince Adekun did not laugh. He stepped closer. "What is your name?" he asked gently. "Zinnyora," she whispered, eyes lowered. "Why do you hide such a voice?" Before she could answer, Morayo interrupted. "She is nothing, my prince. Just a cursed child." The prince raised his hand. Silence fell. He circled Zinnyora slowly, observing her calm despite fear, her humility despite humiliation. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt. Gasps tore through the crowd. "I have traveled many villages," the prince said, his voice strong, "and I have seen beauty that rots and pride that poisons. But I have never seen a spirit this clean." He turned to the elders. "This is the woman I choose." The village erupted. A bald girl, a servant, a cursed child. Morayo collapsed to her knees in shock. Revelation of destiny. The king got married to her, and she was made the queen. Though Zinnyora had risen from dust to the throne, her stepmother Morayo did not rise with her heart. From her exile in Umuada, Morayo burned with envy. Each time news reached her of Zinnyora's kindness, her beauty, her growing power, it felt like salt poured into an open wound. That bald girl was meant to crawl, she spat one night, not sit beside a king. Morayo sold goats, jewelry, even land to gather money. Not for survival, but for revenge. And revenge, she knew, needed allies inside the palace. Within the palace lived a night guide named Sol, a man trusted to guard the inner corridors after sunset. Greed lived quietly inside him. Morayo found him at the edge of the market. "I can make you rich," she whispered, pressing a leather pouch into his palm. Coins clinked softly, seductively. Zol swallowed hard. "What do you want?" "Disgrace," she replied. "Not blood." The plan of false shame. Morayo's plan was wicked in its simplicity. She prepared a herbal drug, ground from sleep leaves and river roots, strong enough to send a person into deep unconsciousness, but not death. Zol was to slip it into Zinnyora's evening drink. Then, while the queen slept, he would lie beside her on the palace mat, carefully arranged, robes loosened, nothing more. At dawn, hired voices would scream, "Adultery! The queen has dishonored the king." In Ileoko, such shame demanded banishment, not mercy. Morayo smiled, let her fall the way she rose. Silently. That night, Zinnyora drank from her cup and felt an unusual heaviness in her limbs. "The day has been long," she murmured. She lay down, unaware as darkness pulled her under. Sola crept in like a shadow. The deed was done. At sunrise, the palace erupted. Women wailed. Guards shouted. The king stood frozen, staring at a sight that made no sense to his soul. Zinnyora awoke confused, weak and surrounded by accusations. "I swear by the earth that bore me," she said, trembling. "I know nothing of this." But doubt is louder than truth when poison is involved. The elders demanded judgment. Banishment was declared. Zinnyora was given one night before exile. The mermaid who heard everything unseen by human eyes. Beneath the palace well lived Nerissa, a mermaid bound to the royal land. She had watched Zinnyora for years, her kindness to water-bearers, her prayers whispered by streams. That same night Nerissa had risen to the surface. And she heard everything. Morayo's voice, Zoli's greedy laughter, the clink of coins, the confession of the drug. Water remembers truth. Justice from the deep. At dawn, as Zinnyora prepared to leave barefoot and broken, the palace well boiled. Water rose unnaturally. Nerissa emerged, half woman, half tide, her voice echoing like thunder in a cave. "Stop!" The crowd fell to the ground. She pointed at Zol. "Confess!" she commanded. Zol screamed as the water wrapped around his legs like chains. Coins spilled from his robe, Morayo's payment. He broke, he confessed everything. Maria was dragged from hiding before the sun reached its peak. Truth restored. The elders wept. The king fell to his knees before Zinnyora. "Forgive us," he said. "We doubted light because darkness shouted louder." Maria was not killed. Zinnyora spoke calmly. "She will live," she said, "but she will never touch power again." Maria was sent far beyond the kingdom, stripped of name and comfort. Solo was cast out, forbidden from entering any royal land. The queen who survived shame. That night, Zinnyora stood by the well. "Why did you help me?" she asked the mermaid. Nerissa smiled. "Because the innocent always call the water, even when they don't know it." From that day, Zinnyora ruled stronger, wiser, untouchable by lies. And the elders added a new proverb: "Poison sleeps in cups, but truth swims in deep water."